Charlie Hart has tweeted in, Jim, can you give us a real reason why the Lions sent you a letter, then didn't invite you on tour?
Yeah, why, James? Why?
I've said it before. He needs to go back through the archives. Have I said it or not?
No, not on here.
Well, 2013, as we know, was the British and Irish Lions tour to Australia. And I was in the form of my life, right? So we've mentioned top 10 second rows, vice captain. I mean, this year was head down and I was having a blinder. 2013 took Rory Best and the Irish flying out to the cleaners in a thriller. I think I got about 15 turnovers that game. I was primed, ready to go. I can't think of any of the other games, but I got man of the match that game. And I remember, and Graham Rowntree, who is an avid listener of the podcast and a good friend and a fantastic coach, this is how I remember it, right? I remember him telling me, him whispering and saying, look, mate, there's a good chance you're going. I'm telling the Kovskins, right, that I'm going on the Lions tour and that I've made it effectively. They've all booked up their flights to go via Hong Kong. I think I'm going, right? And I think my season's finished. I'm at Gloucester at the time. And so I'm just thinking back. I think the season's finished. I'm at Gloucester at the time. Paul O'Connell's injured, right? He's injured. He's got a really bad back injury, long term. He's touch and go for the Lions tour. Doesn't look like he's going to make it. Out the middle of nowhere, he rocks up for a semi-final in the European Cup, takes 3 lineouts on the 2-step lob. Stuart Barnes gives him man of the match, and next thing he gets fast track. So I don't even think anything of it. I'm thinking, well, it's Paul O'Connell and it's Jim Hamilton in the second row. That's what I'm thinking.
Oh, poor Paul O'Connell.
My mates have all booked to go because I've told them that I'm going because Wig effectively told me that I'm going. And one of the questions was that Graham said, he said, look, are you going to be all right being a midweek captain? I'm like, yeah. I was like, I don't want to play test match. Get me in for midweek smash. I said, and to lead them troops into wherever they need to be led to. I said, I'm happy. I don't need to go near the test team. Alan Wynne-Jones, he can have it. So I've convinced myself that I'm going. Next thing, get a phone call off Wig. And he's like, mate, it's not good news. And I was like, what? Vice captain? He said, no. He says, no, mate. He said, liability. Warren Gatland's words. You're a liability. I said, what do you mean? I said, mate, the Kovskins are booked to go to Australia. What do you mean liability? I was like, the most important things happened here. They've booked flights. What do you mean liability? And he said, Gats thinks you're a penalty machine.
And he was right, wasn't he?
So he took Ian Evans ahead of me, who moaned the house down apparently for playing midweek, and the rest is history. I had shoulder surgery because I was leaving Gloucester to go to Montpellier. They delayed the surgery because I thought I was going on the Lions tour. Got the letter and everything, signed it, sent it back. And part of the rules of me leaving Gloucester and going to Montpellier is that the Lions would have paid for my shoulder surgery, and I would have went to Montpellier. Obviously, that didn't happen. So Montpellier wanted me to have my shoulder done at Gloucester before I went there. So I had shoulder surgery. And 3 weeks later, I'm playing for the Barbarians, vice captain, against England. Missed about 4 tackles. Flew to Hong Kong. Got taken out by Joe Rockagoslo, Casey La, Samu Manoa on the bench because I didn't operate well in bad conditions in Hong Kong. Praying to the powers that be that the game's getting cancelled. The game's on. I get about 15 minutes against the Lions to prove everyone wrong that I should have been there. And no word of a lie, I gave away 4 penalties in that game and I was only on the pitch for 15 minutes. I had sunstroke, and the surgeon said to me I shouldn't play for 2 to 3 months. I'm out there as an absolute warrior with my shoulder like a toothpick and 3 weeks after surgery. But I tell you what, it's a hell of a story.
Oh dear! I'd love to see that full letter published, Jim. I'd love to see it published fully.
It's got my name on.
Well, yeah. Well, you see, I got a letter for the 2005 Lions tour.
Hey, it's not about you. It's not about
you. But I just want to query the letter as to what it actually was. And
it says you're going. It says, Jim, you're in, mate. Congrats.
Why didn't you post the whole letter then?
Because it's private, mate.
Is it not the letter about 4,000 players get that say you're under consideration? You're in a group.
No, mate. It's a letter that says private and confidential. Please do not share and never talk about it. So,
yeah, We've all had those letters. We've all had those letters, Jim.
I was going, mate. So, Wig, you've got a lot to answer for, mate. Mate, the Kovskins had to get back in the factory when they got back. They didn't see the mate play. Had a hell of a time, though.